we go. Hey everybody, this is Greg Poole of Bowjunky Media, bowjunkymedia.com. We are in some interesting times right now. And so as part of this, not just the Happy BJ Quarantine Challenge, trying some shooting and whatnot, we will be doing a Euro homie, one of that as best we can anyway. They're on a little bit more of a lockdown and things just aren't quite exactly the same for them over there, and so kind of why we're going to do what we do here. But similar to the one with Paige yesterday, we're going to do this first, and that's handling a little bit of our business. And as usual, none of this would be possible without the sponsors, without the advertisers, sponsors for our guests today, advertisers for Bowjunky. That none of this would even be possible. And so I want to thank AAE, Kafaru International, PSE, Bomar Archery, Martin Archery, Easton Arrows, Gas Bowstrings, First Light Camo, Feather Vision Lenses, Black Rifle Coffee Company, Viking Tactics, and of course our friends over at Zeiss. And so that's how we do that. So for those of you that tuned in yesterday, we're doing this whole split screen live feed deal. I did have a glitch in the matrix. I will be reloading the audio podcast of Paige, Tate, and Jimmy yesterday. But we just want to start touching base with some of our archery family from across the globe. And this gentleman that you see on screen right now, or if you're listening to the podcast, you're about to hear his name, is a good friend of the program. He's one of the best archers in the world. And he is currently in France on quarantine babysitting duty. It's Seb Peineau. What's going on, buddy?
Well, I try to keep up. It's kind of difficult to for everything. I mean, we are just allowed to go outside with a paper who tell you are going to the doctor or just going to the shop to get some food, but that's it. We are not allowed to do sports. All the unnecessary shops are closed. Only food shops are open, and I mean pharmacy and health shops are open.
Right.
So it's kind of weird because like a few weeks ago the indoor season was over, and then I took a week off to have some vacations with my family, go skiing a little, and then going back home to practice for World Cups, national stage, everything. And well, nothing happened for the moment. Staying at home. So yeah, I'm here with my wife. She's working at home, and I just take care of my wife and my daughter.
Right. So what is the, I mean, as far like obviously you've seen the jokes and the memes about hearing the toilet paper shortage here and stuff, but it's getting to the point now where toilet paper is just becoming a joke, but other food things, meat, other things like that are becoming an issue in some areas. So tell us a little bit about the food situation there. Are you guys experiencing a shortage, or is everything pretty good?
It's pretty good. Some people are still crazy with rice and pasta.
Okay.
We came back from holidays, so last Saturday, and the fridge was completely empty. So I just goes to kind of a Walmart, small Walmart. Walmart means a lot for you guys in the US, right. So it's a small one to get some meat, just some food, but I just didn't pack 15 or 20 kilos of rice and pasta, and I didn't get hundreds of paper roll, but no, it's pretty much okay on meat, vegetables and stuff like that. It's pretty much okay. Rice and pasta, you can find some. It can be difficult sometimes, but all the managers of the shops just ask people to be intelligent
Right.
when they can, to just don't take like 5, 6, 7 stack of toilet papers or 5 or 6 kilos of pasta. And if you go there and get a lot of it, when you want to pay, they said, well, it's only 2.
Good.
If you want to get more, not from us.
Right. Well, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, nobody will have problems with food. And when I said food, it's largely vegetables, meat, pasta, rice, everything. They have a lot of stock on that. But if people still buy a ton of it, then we will have a problem. We are still allowed to go outside to get some food to eat, so it's not necessary to take a lot of it each time you go outside to get some food.
Gotcha. Now, so I would imagine that you are, in communication with a lot of other archers and a lot of other French citizens over there. So what's kind of the overall, what's the overall thought process right now? And basically, how is everyone feeling about this situation? Positivity towards a light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, how is everyone over there dealing with this right now in the archery world per se? And, what's the overall vibe?
Everyone is pretty much doing fine. Some people, like from National Training Center that we call the INSEP, which groups all the Olympic sports in the east of Paris. So the National Training Center for all these sports is closed for at least 15 days. Mm-hmm. So some people like JC Valadon on the recurve side, Audrey Adiseon, they just do small groups. They are staying at JC Valadon's house, practicing little. A few guys like Jean-Philippe Boulch are lucky enough to have a practice range at home.
Oh, okay.
A garden long enough to shoot at 50 meters. And yeah, people try to still practice when they can. I can't. I mean, my local club is closed. The mayor of the town closed every sports equipment, so I can try to practice a little blank bale at home. But we are preparing for outdoor, so extends are really skinny, and well, if I practice a little too much, I will maybe get the cops at home because of the noise.
Right. Are you referring to the slap when a skinny arrow hits a? Okay, I got you. So you are at least trying to run some arrows at home, but for you have no availability to go shoot pretty much anything right now whatsoever except for at home, which is not actually a range. You just shoot in your room.
Nope. I just can't. I mean, we live in an apartment. It's 67 square meter, which I don't know what is it for you guys in the US, but yeah, I just can't practice at 50 meters. It's just impossible for me.
Right.
Yeah, it's difficult, and sometimes during the days it's kind of boring.
Right.
I put an order in for an Acubo, so if Acubo is looking, please send it quickly.
Right.
Then I can practice a little more. But yeah, it's basically my day.
Right.
I'm doing physio, but yeah, that's it.
Right. So what about And I don't know if travel's the right word, but basically, how far do you live from JP or any of the other guys that actually have ranges, and is travel even permitted?
So first, JP is about 5 hours, 5.5 hours of driving.
That's a long way.
So for daily practice, it's just nope.
Right. Right.
And we are not permitted for that.
Oh, okay.
We are, so to just clarify the situation, we are, like, if I want to run a little, we are allowed to sign a paper to say that we want to do a little sport outside. It's a 20 to 30 minutes maximum per day.
Wow. Okay.
And we have to stay just around where we live. I mean, for example, for getting food or stuff like this, we are not allowed to go more than 2 kilometers away from home.
Oh, okay. So you can't like go to the mountains and go hiking for a day all by yourself or anything. You literally have to stay within 2 kilometers of home.
Yep,
Wow. Wow.
exactly.
And
Everything like that, hiking in mountains, riding your bike, I mean, doing sports with your bike, not allowed. You can run outside a little, but it's just, just 2, 3 kilometers per day
right.
and turning around where you live.
And how long are they telling you? Because here, the federal government, some of the state and county governments are kind of doing a whole nother thing, but the federal government, we're in day, I believe, I believe we're in day 9 of a 15-day suggested self quarantine. So how long is your government, the French government, saying that you guys are going to be under these restrictions?
So it started last Tuesday, and they said first for 15 days.
Oh, okay, same.
But, well, it's just to be clear, it's only my personal opinion, but the way I think, it will be 2 weeks more than
Oh,
that.
okay.
So it will probably be a month,
Oh, okay.
at
Got it.
least, at least.
Wow. And what makes you think that's going to be the case? Is it the basically what you think the French people are wanting? Is that what the French government is alluding to, or is that, I mean, what makes you feel that way?
Um, so a lot of people, the first few days, a lot of people just didn't respect the quarantine. We had some nice days, sunny, no wind, and a lot of people just fill papers and say they were doing sport, but goes really away from home.
Oh, okay.
So they just didn't respect that. So the cops just arrest people to check those paper.
Gotcha.
You can get a fine if you lied or if you didn't had that paper. But yeah, a lot of people just didn't respect that, and because of
Gotcha.
that, it will take a little more time, in my opinion, to get away from this virus. And yeah, it's I can understand that it's complicated for a lot of people to stay at home, but do you prefer to stay at home for 3 weeks or a month, or taking the risk to get the virus,
Right.
the wrong side of it? Because a lot of people have it, and I mean, nobody knows, but I can actually have it, but the good side of it, and I won't have fever or
Right.
any problems.
Absolutely.
But a lot of people can have it, and it can go really, really bad. I mean, we.
Right.
I don't have the numbers, but we are approximately around 200 people death in
Right.
France. It's almost 5,000 in Italy. So yeah, just you've
Right.
seen a lot of hashtags on Facebook and social media, so just stay the fuck home.
All right. All right. No language barrier there, folks. So,
Nope.
let's talk about the business side of this. Here in the States, and I don't know what your guys's you know, per capita of small businesses go or any of that, but specific to archery, um, either in your city or in your region, or if you know the data for the country, that's great too. But um, obviously, I would assume at this point all archery shops are shut down as well.
Yes. So I will say we have around 50 to 60 shops, archery shops in France. Everybody's closed because it's not a necessary shops
Right.
for like food or pharmacy. A few shops, so a lot of person post on social media. A lot of archery say, well, we will try to keep internet and website sales up as much as we can. If the postal service still works, for the moment it's still work, but it's they do priorities.
Okay.
I mean, if it's necessary, like medical stuff or something like that, then they have priority on that. But yeah, a few shops do that. I'm working closely with Gold Archery. They have 5 shops in France, 2 in Paris region, and yeah, they're closed.
Wow.
It's
And
it's
and so right. And so like and share this live feed, folks, if you don't mind. We're just trying to kind of get the word out, how some of our archery family from, across the globe is dealing with this issue. So like and share this live feed, get it out there so more people can tune in. Of those 50 to 60 shops, and I don't expect you to know everybody's financial situation. However, in your estimation, how many of those 50 to 60 shops do you think are going to even be able to survive this?
uh, it's really difficult to say, but hopefully for the archery family and for the archery business, everyone will be able to. And just to give some precision on that, so the French president said that they will unlock 300 billion for all the shops, all kind of shops,
Sure.
to help them to survive
Right.
for these situations. So, for example, they just moved. So every month you have bills to pay, rent, everything.
Right.
You have taxes. I mean, every country is a little bit different, but everyone got taxes, everyone got bills,
Right.
and from the French government, and they just make kind of a pause, a stop on that for those few weeks, and you can report those bills on the next few months.
Oh, right. Right.
And if a few shops are in big trouble money side, they can ask the government to get some help.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's why the French president just so he asked he can do a big fight for that and present it to the European Union. The European Union accepted, So we will. So sorry.
That's okay.
Got a call on the phone. The French president will unlock 300 billions
Right.
for all kind of shops in France.
Right. And so as you in particular and some of the other archers out there, how are you guys communicating with the French Archery Federation, and what are they suggesting? I mean, because not to say that archery is more important than the health issues, folks. It's not what we're saying. I'm not trying to say that. But right. I got to say that stuff, Seb, because some folks.
Yeah, of course.
It's crazy out there. But so how is the French Archery Federation communicating with you guys and kind of relaying information as it pertains to the archery side of this situation?
So we get a lot of communication with the federation. So just to be clear, we were supposed to get outdoor trials for the international season next weekend. Of course, it's cancelled.
Right.
Nothing for the moment on the French country. Nothing archery side will happen at least until 15th of April.
Okay.
They cancelled everything, all competitions, and by that I mean 50 meters, 70 meters, 3D, field, everything.
Right.
We have a national club team circuit, which is 3 stages, and we have a few. We have 2 different divisions. We have Division 1, which is the highest level, and Division 2. And we have also national tournament for young archers. Everything is cancelled for this season. They had a big appointment with everyone from the federation. A few archers, all those big heads from the federation, presidents, national technical director, coaches, and everything. Everything is cancelled. So all the people who were, and by people I mean club team, who were qualified for Division 1 and Division 2, it stays like that, and we will go on that with the same team for 2021. We will probably have and hopefully have national championships, probably more in July or something. It's just my personal opinion. There is no dates for the moment.
Sure.
And to explain that also, we have national ranking. So every time you shoot a competition, all the results are sent to the federation, and you have a ranking on the French website,
right?
French Federation website, and then they qualified, like let's say 32 or 64 people in each category, and to be able to qualify for those national champs, you must have 3 scores for this season, and with all the events going on, it's now 2 scores.
Oh, okay.
Then it will be easier for most of the people to shoot only 2 competitions and being able to go to those national champs.
Right. Well, and let's talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room, the Olympics. What have you? I mean, obviously you shoot compound, so you're not going to the Olympics as an archer. But what have you heard from the federation in regards to the French recurve Olympic team and any of those qualifications? I mean, there's been some scuttlebutt about the Olympics and postponements and all that. It's hard to even tell at this particular time, but what have you heard over there as far as the Olympic recurve side goes?
Honestly, nothing. Um,
Okay.
the trials for the Olympic team are already done. They had, I don't want to mess up with dates, but they had the first trials end of December, then another one um, somewhere around February. So everything is done, and the group for the Olympic team is done.
Okay.
So all of this is pretty much okay for the moment. They have to get the quota because they don't have team quota or individual.
Right.
So the first Olympic qualification tournament is the European Championship, which is the third week of May in Turkey. For the moment, the only thing I know is there is no possibility to hold events in Turkey before the end of April. So hopefully, if the situation goes better in Europe,
right,
with this virus, we will probably be able to still get the European Championships. The first World Cup is normally in Antalya too, but the week before, so let's say mid-May. Yeah, I don't want to say yes or no. The World Archery Federation will communicate on those dates
right.
if it will happen or not. For the moment, we don't know. The World Archery said that no competition will happen before the end of April. Let's see in a few weeks. But yeah, on
Absolutely.
this side, the group is done. So hopefully they will be able to compete to get some team quota or individual quota.
Sure.
There is the World Cup in Berlin, end of June. It's the last team quota for every country. So yeah, hopefully
Awesome.
we will be able to shoot the European champ, and
Right.
the recurve will be able to go to Berlin.
Sure. Well, this is definitely going to be an archery season year that we are never going to forget for many reasons we wish we could. But hey, man, I really appreciate you spending some time with me today. For those of you listening to this live feed on Facebook right now, I am going to start talking to Johan van Drunen from JVD Distributing. But before I start doing that, Seb, let everybody out there know where they can keep up with you and your current home-based adventures.
Yeah, well, if you have any question on tuning or technical side, compound, it's up to you. You have my personal Facebook. I have my athlete page. You can send a few messages if you have any question, if you want any tune tips. Before going to holidays and a few days of skiing with my family, I just set up my outdoor bow with my 8 stands and shot my Invicta. I mean, everything is ready.
Right.
At least on equipment side, I'm not really ready because I'm not really able to practice, but hopefully it will be better soon. But yeah, if you have any question on equipment, tuning, just don't hesitate to ask, to shoot a message on my page or just a personal message on Messenger. I'll be really happy to help.
You have plenty of time right now, right?
Yeah, well, I take care of my daughter all day long.
That's right.
But yeah, I have more time than usual.
That's right. All right, Seb, I appreciate you coming on today, buddy. You be safe over there and keep shooting that blank bale until the cops arrive. All right, buddy.
Thanks a lot.
All right. Bye.
See ya.
All right. Let's see how we can transition this over. And see how this works, folks. You can go ahead and hang up Seb. We're going to transition Johan in here and see how this works. See you later, buddy. All right. Hey, there he is. It's Johan van Drunen. Look how smooth and seamless. I'm not sure how seamless the transition looked for everybody at home. However, for me, it was flawless. How are you today, buddy?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you. I shot my bow, walked the dog. If we didn't know we had a crisis on Corona, situation was as every day. So
there you go. All right. So first of all, for those of you watching and who will be listening to this audio on a podcast, but for those of you on Facebook right now, this is Johan van Drunen. He is owner of JVD Distributing over in the Netherlands, although Johan did just make a little bit of move. But overall, how are things going for you over there, buddy?
Well, it's been quite a unique week.
Yeah.
No, overall, it's in general, I'm happy that I'm living in Spain here. Business is going well. Well, we just have a very unique situation to deal with now. So yeah, let's talk on that.
Absolutely. And so there in Spain, where you relocated to, how's the overall situation in your particular area? Because as everyone has seen, it's just some areas are in a worse position than others. We have states here in America that are way more hard hit than others. There's countries that are more hard hit. So how are things in your particular area?
Well, I live on an island called Ibiza. It's very much a tourist island, so at the moment it's relatively quiet. So not too many corona cases. I think we had the first person who passed today. In Spain itself, it's a very bad situation, especially in Madrid. I think they had about 300 people who passed away the last 24 hours. So after Italy, Spain has been hit really hard.
Wow. Well, our thoughts and prayers definitely go out to them. We don't wish anybody to fall on that fate. That's for sure. So you definitely stay on your island and
I'm not allowed to get off the island anymore. So
right, exactly. So let's talk about some of the other effects here. I just talked to Sebastian, who explained his situation in France, but you are in a little bit different situation. Of course, you would love to be traveling around, shooting your bow at will, but shooting, I think you have a little business that might take precedent over your personal shooting. Of course, that's JVD Distributing. So Sebastian was telling us that there's approximately 50 to 60 archery shops in France, and of course they're all closed. That doesn't necessarily mean that people aren't shopping, but they're just not able to go shop in archery dealers right now. So from that standpoint, let's just talk a little bit about what has JVD done at the moment to kind of weather this storm, and how is business at this point?
Well, first discussion has been about safety. Safety first. What to do with continuing work as we normally did. And the Netherlands is not in a lockdown yet. Spain is. So in the Netherlands, people are allowed to work and to move around freely.
Nice.
And you see very big change already in 1 week time. So at the beginning of this week, we decided to have everybody from the offices to work from home. No, that's not a problem. It does create some challenges, but it is a very viable option.
Sure.
In the warehouse, we've continued to work, and they've made a 2-shift, so they basically split the team. Morning team and an afternoon team, making sure that there's no direct contact. We have plenty of space, so that is safety first.
Absolutely. Now, you guys move a tremendous amount of product, and so just when you're sending out a lot of product, that means you need to bring in a lot of product. And so,
right.
with the Netherlands not being on lockdown, which is fantastic news, by the way, how are you guys? Are you guys seeing any shipping issues? And at this point, how are outgoing orders as far as not just keeping up with them, but the quantity of orders at this time?
Yeah, of course, there's some major concerns on that side. What we've seen, basically, we've had the first week now. Sales definitely were down, not as dramatic as I had feared.
Oh, that's good.
So that's good, but again, it's only the first week. We'll have to see how fast we will see the direct effects of this,
Right.
because measures change very much from day to day. So when beginning of the week, maybe not too much was going on in Europe or worldwide, but that can be very different next Monday. We did see a number of shipments getting returned. So that were, in this case, it was UPS. For some specific countries, they said, okay, we're not going to supply regular shops.
Okay.
So there we see an issue already. Of course, shops close. In some countries they closed. In other countries they're still open. But yeah, there's major impact. A lot of people are not able to shoot their bow. It's good that we have online sales for the shops. So hopefully that will keep some of the business going. It will also hopefully enable people that do want to get archery equipment still have access to that.
Right.
But yeah, it's very difficult to forecast how this will, what results we will see, and I mean, we're just in the beginning of this, and I think we have not certainly have not seen the peak of problems, both on health issues and financially, that are related to the coronavirus problem.
Right. And so with your business being located in the Netherlands, just because you're in the Netherlands and it's still open and that stuff doesn't mean that this isn't going to affect your business. And so,
no, of course it will.
Right. What if anything, because I just talked to Sebastian and he said that France has opened up about $300 billion in aid. Here in America, it's a lot more than that. And so, what, if anything, is the government of the Netherlands doing to, make it more of an adjustment period to where if there's any financial assistance needed?
Well, there's absolutely financial assistance. I think what Sebastian said, I think we see some similarities here in the Netherlands, in Europe in general. We understand that in an economy we depend on each other. When one has a problem, the next one has a problem, the next one has a problem. So there's a chain reaction.
Sure.
It's extremely important to manage both health and economy. And yes, there will be a lot of support. Of course, that is not. I may have the question, okay, what does it mean for my company, or you as a person, what does it mean for me? And the effect may be different from one person to the other person, one company to the other.
Sure.
So there will be a very large amount of support, and for some that will be good, for some that will not be enough.
Right.
I also am a bit worried about the whole administration side of that. Who is going to get support, who's not? Are the guidelines clear or not? I mean, some people will make abuse of the support, so it's too early to tell. And I mean, like I said, we basically feel like we're now we've just had the first week.
Right.
The big question, of course, is how fast can we all manage this, improve the situation? I think we certainly haven't seen the peak yet, but is this going to last 2, 3, 4 weeks? Is it going to last 2 months?
Right.
Yeah, major concerns.
So let me ask this: not being familiar with and this is going to revolve around employees, because it takes a few folks to keep JVD running. I've seen your facility; it's absolutely fantastic. And so, I'm not familiar with the Netherlands employee situation as far as unemployment, how those kind of benefits work, all that kind of stuff. So, tell everybody watching kind of how the system in the Netherlands works as far as if you have to scale back on employees, how are citizens there taken care of in a situation like this if JVD is not able to be running at maximum output and has to scale back on employees?
Well, basically, there's a lot of companies that see they don't need as many people as they have on their payroll. So some have requested relief from that. The government is very much supporting. I think like 90% of the income is the costs are supported by the government.
Okay.
So the first thing, they don't want to have everybody to send home. So that's good. And again, I think it differs very much from business to business. I mean, when you have a restaurant, I mean,
right,
you have to close your restaurant. So yeah, what are you going to do? I mean, some restaurants clearly try to make a switch to some delivery service, but that's very limited. So the effect again will differ very much from business to business.
Right.
And we are not as flexible. And well, the last thing I would like to do is send people. Well, they may go home, but they should not worry about their paychecks in any way. So, sure. And they will not need to. So.
Good. That's great news. So let's talk about business partners. And as anyone understands, as a distributor, you have to deal with both the company side as customers and or vendors, and the retail and dealer side. So, obviously being as large as you are, you have, massive accounts with Hoyt and PSE and Trueball and AAE, of course. You're a giant customer for AAE. And so how are you strategically, because look, it's not like if you get, most people think that if you have X amount of sites, just using Trueball as an example, if you have X amount of sites in stock, you're already thinking about when to order and what to order after that order, because you can't. It's not like, especially for you, you can call up and be like, "Hey, we need 500 sites, and they'll be here in 3 days." That's not how it works. And so, how are you working strategically with your vendors? I'm assuming most all of them, but how are you working with them to, kind of mitigate the change of orders, because you're not going to need as much in because not as much is going out?
Yeah. Well, the difficult part is, again, that we don't know whether this is a 4-week situation, whether that we will see a 50% decrease of sales, whether it will be a 75. We don't know. The only thing I know for sure that there will be a decrease in sales. So we normally place orders based on forecast.
Right.
And those forecasts are no longer valid.
Correct.
So there we definitely need to make adjustments. And I mean, it can run into the millions very quickly over a few months period.
Yes.
So one of the first things I decided is cash flow control is very important. So I've sent a letter out to all suppliers. I said, stop, hold all the orders for this moment. We're going to evaluate what the situation is. We've just had a few days, so I want to see at least 2 weeks what's going on, so I have a better feeling of how business is going, what effect we're going to see before we will be able to make adjustments. It's not not a letter I did like to send out, but I think it's important to do so at this unique situation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the prudent business decision, and every business out there is having to do it. I mean, here at AAE, we're having to do it with material suppliers that were normally. I mean, that is absolutely the trickle down effect of how this is going to work. And so, in your experience and your time in this industry, obviously this is unprecedented.
Correct.
But we have seen, over any business, lifespan, there are peaks and valleys, there's ups and downs. Given the amount of experience you have, obviously you learned a lot from your father. I mean, you are a legacy in this industry as well. So what, in your estimation, do you view as the final outcome business-wise during this issue heading towards, like you said, several weeks down the road? What are you envisioning as how this is going to play out?
I'm not concerned. I expect that this is a very temporary situation. I'm not concerned about the popularity of archery in any way. I expect that we will see the support to keep the economy going. So I expect that people will continue to enjoy shooting their bow, will continue to shoot archery products. Just at this time, it is very limited.
Absolutely.
So it is more critical to keep everybody in business. Again, we're going to miss an X amount of sales for a certain period, but it's too early to tell. Right. Again, we need to avoid, in general, for the economy, that we don't see a chain reaction where everybody gets out of business, people lose their jobs, then we have a huge problem. But I think we have smart governments that understand economy, and that we will get through this. At the moment, in that case, it's all about health. Not spreading the disease is key at this time, and that simply does require sacrifices. And it's interesting that people do understand the importance of that. The problem is not everybody does see that, but the fewer and fewer contacts we can have, in general, the better for the moment.
And so it obviously, you said the Netherlands is not on lockdown at this point. So reverting to Spain, where you're currently residing, not just on the island, of course, but what kind of businesses, if any, are being allowed to stay open in Spain right now, or is it pretty prototypical?
Similar to what Sebastian said.
Okay.
So from shops are closed. It's all about food and health. That is opened. On the other side, I mean, I had meetings this week with with some of the people who had done some construction on the house. But general shops, consumer to business, that is closed.
Okay, all right. And so let's fast forward to something positive in this situation, and that is the absolute tsunami that is going to happen when all of this is over and everybody gets back to their lives and we all run out of product, because everyone's going to be rushing to get back into archery, which is fantastic. I agree with you. Yeah. I don't think let me rephrase this before I even say it. I think the companies and the entities that manage to make it through this successfully are going to be absolutely swamped with orders when this is all said and done. So as we're talking about projections, as we're talking about, getting through this hard time, absolutely true. This is probably a little soon for you to be thinking about, but we also know that when the floodgates are open and everyone's allowed to do whatever they want to do, the orders are going to be, it's going to go through the roof. So how do you...
I don't know. People are spending a lot of money on food these days. So.
That's true. Well, I spend a lot on food anyway. And so how will you, when you start to see, obviously it's not right now. We understand it's not right now. But when you see, and you're a smart guy, when you start to see, okay, things have leveled, okay, about this far from now, I think things are going to cut loose and things are going to start to get back to normal, you will then know, I'm probably not going to have enough product in my warehouse. And so will you
No, I don't worry about it. I mean, we have very large stock in a warehouse. It's just you need to have the right stock on the right product. And that's always the challenge. It's the big variety of product sizes that makes it challenging. Long lead times, transport time. I mean, that makes our job on one side difficult. On the other side, that makes it why we have such a valid position in the archery industry. Right. I always say we bridge time and distance. And any strong changes in sales are challenging, whether it's a decrease or increase. An increase is a luxury problem, but it's still a problem. The good thing is that it's a worldwide issue where we sell worldwide. The results will be different from country to country.
Right.
One country may start up businesses, the other country may still be in lockdown. I mean, the US, for example, is behind. I mean, it started in China. One of the things I would like to remark as well is it's very negative what's happening. China, for me, is a positive side where we see that the problem seems to be somehow in control.
Right.
New cases are in decrease. So to me, that's a very important factor to keep in mind, that there's also a positive future, and that we will be able to control this.
Right.
But it will come at very big sacrifices, and we will see very many people dying, health control not having the capacity that is required. But so to get back to your question, yes, I expect that people are very eager to get outside and shoot their bows once they're released again.
You're right.
So yeah, that's why they see. You know, it differs very much from country to country. We're just in between indoor and outdoor season. I mean, I am fortunate that they have very nice weather here. There's plenty of countries in Europe where it isn't nice weather yet, the same as in the States.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to believe that there will be a positive reaction as well. So it's very much a timing issue.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's going to be a spring back effect of some sort, that once things get cut loose and everyone starts getting back to normal, I think it's going to be unprecedented. I think that the climb, I don't know if we'll get right back to where we were quickly. I don't think we will, but I think from the low that we're at, whenever that bottom happens, I think that the springboard effect, everyone's going to respond quickly. And as far as the economic side goes, that's a huge concern, as it should be. So I see in the background there, you got a little piece of equipment against the wall back.
Greg, I just put it on for display purposes. No. It's funny. I just started shooting 2 weeks ago again, and I normally shoot. I don't shoot a lot during the year, but one of the things about relocation here is that I'd like to have some more time to shoot my bow. It's I can shoot 50 meters here. I can set up a 3D course here, so it's the weather is good. So it's actually it's.
There
and
you
I
go.
don't have a tournament. I think my first tournament that I'm sure that I'm going to is in June. So I have 3 months to train. So I don't have a concern on that side. You know, it's more like the guys that shoot the World Cups, or if you're an organizer. I mean, it are these simple things. Yeah, you organize an event. The event has to be cancelled. Well, who's going to pick up that check?
Yeah.
Will that event be able to run again next year?
Right.
I mean, so it's these kinds of challenges. So.
No doubt. So speaking of events, let's talk about, in my opinion, one of the fastest growing and well-ran events, indoor events, I should say, that I think the world has to offer, and that, of course, is the JVD Open. Kings of Archery, Sander Dolderman absolutely did a great job putting that together. I like the fact that Johan basically, from a archer standpoint, said, what would I want to do? Like, if I'm going to come to an event, what am I going to want to do as an archer? And that's something that I think has really paid dividends there. But JVD stepped in here, I think a year or two ago, and that became the JVD Open. And so that event takes place usually in November, December, I believe. So
mid-November.
So hopefully, folks, there's no scheduling issues with the JVD Open at this point. It's far enough in the future.
But still, Greg, even there, then you step into the. Then you put on your archery tournament organizer hat, and you think, okay, what happens? Who's going to bear those costs? can we reschedule it? Everybody thinks that they can reschedule an event. Well, there must be so many events at the end of this year. I don't know, but
Right.
that's not going to happen. I mean, again, it's an event in a way is also a business,
Right.
and that is not something that will pick up next month.
No.
For most cases. So yeah, it's a very interesting case. Also, as an organizer, okay, how will you manage these risks?
Right. Well, I mean, NFAA Indoor Nationals was canceled, and I've been working with Brittany and Bruce a lot with that, and they picked a date that seemed simple. The event was open, the venue was open, everything seemed great. And then the Kentucky Derby horse race decided to hold their event on the same weekend, and they kind of trump any archery event anywhere. It's a massive, massive thing. So the scheduling is a huge, huge issue. And you're right. I don't think people understand not only the financial stress of that, but then you have okay, well, we'll just move it to this date. And then you have half the people show up and the event ends up losing money. And as you know, most of these events can't afford to lose money. They are not. These events are not raking in the dough. So let's backtrack to the JVD Open a little bit. Now, you guys are also kind of integrated, which I think is a good idea. You guys integrated your dealer schools programs into the same time frame. So talk a little bit about the decision to get involved with the Kings of Archery. You know, branding at the JVD Open was genius, and kind of your overall strategy there with integrating your dealer programs.
Well, the event that Sandra and the team had been running has been popular, but limited to the size. And so first question from Sandra was, hey, we would like to increase the size of the tournament, but they would not like to bear those risks personally, which I can fully understand. I mean, they do that to give something a great event to the archery community, but they don't like to be in big financial issues if something goes wrong there. So we found each other pretty quickly there because I believe that there was no risk. I did see the potential of the event. As a distributor, I mean, it's a very nice time when there's a lot of product releases. It's a nice way for us to interact with our dealers. So that's basically where we said, okay, we've done a dealer event in-house a few years ago, but I would prefer to have an event that brings archers, dealers, manufacturers, JVD together. So that's basically how the JVD Open Kings of Archery event came together. And yeah, we've been very pleased that it went the way we had expected. So the discussion is now more to see, okay, how can we grow the event? Looks like this year it will be very similar to the previous two events, and then we're looking at options to go to a new facility. But yeah, we'll have to
that's
one
awesome.
step at a time. So yeah.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll put it this way, and I've already told Sonder we'll be there. Not Bowjunky in particular. They have their media thing figured out, but AAE is going to be at the JVD Open this year, so I'm definitely looking forward to attending and checking that out. So one last question, then I'll let you get. And for those of you wondering, when TJ and Shelly Fisher and my wife and I went over on a little European tour here a couple years ago, Johan, unfortunately, despite his love of pretty fast cars, I had to blow his doors off on our rental, and so we were driving to lunch, and I had to hammer down on the minivan and show Johan what's up. All right, that's a total lie. He absolutely destroyed me. But so the cars. How did you get Did you drive the cars to Spain? Did you have them shipped? How exactly did that work? You said you're on an island, so how big?
Yeah. So one of the Audi R8 I had was one of the things that I realized pretty quickly that that's not the car for here. So I made some changes to the cars I have now.
Okay.
So I have some cars now that are more suitable for the roads here. So
gotcha.
There's virtually no highway. There's a few places where you can drive 100 kilometers an hour. So that's But I'm mainly concerned that with a sports car, if you have somebody passing that may not, my car may not survive that on the side of the road. So.
Ah, gotcha. All right. So you've kind of had to revamp because I was literally considering putting together a pay-per-view battle royale drag race between you and your favorite car and Greg Summers from True Ball, and I believe his is an Audi. But
yeah, he has no chance. So, but
oh.
He did not have a chance, but he knew that.
Did you hear that, Greg? Greg Summers, if you're listening, Johan's talking car trash. I'm not going to say Bowjunky would come cover that race, but Bowjunky would come cover that race. But anyway, all right, man. I really appreciate your time today, Johan.
We'll wait for the test ride, Greg. If that shows up.
Yeah. No, I know that in these times, especially right now, it's stressful and there's a lot of uncertainty. But I appreciate you coming on and kind of explaining how things are working for you and JVD, and keep up the good work over there, and we really appreciate everything that you guys do over there.
Thank you, Greg. For everybody listening, be safe, no contact. It's easy to think, hey, we don't have a problem yet, but you wake up 1-2 weeks later and you see, hey, we have a problem. So again, be safe. Thank you.
That's it. All right, everybody. That's going to do it for this live feed. I'm going to keep doing some of these things. I'm going to talk with some of our friends down in New Zealand, Australia. I am going to reach out to Peter Elzinga. Just start touching base with some folks, because right now we don't get to see these people at events. We don't have events to socialize, to keep up, to see what's going on with our archery fam, and that's why I'm using that hashtag, is because literally the archery community is pretty much everyone's second family or third family, depending on your view there. But I think it's important that we all keep in touch, especially right now, because we can't see each other. If there's an American shooter, a European shooter, a Australian shooter that you're used to seeing, whether it's a Riku or a Ben Doyle from down under or whatever it may be, shoot him a message. Shoot him a message on Facebook. Say hi to somebody as though you were going to be seeing them in person, even though you're not, because a lot of these people, like Sebastian, you can see Sebastian's like, I'm bored out of my mind, and he can only shoot so many blank bales a day. Plus, with X10 slapping that target, I can imagine the neighbors are like, what the heck is happening up there? But everyone be safe out there. You can't be with your archery family, and that is just part of what we're all having to deal with right now. But as you see right now, that's Johan right there. He's in Spain. I'm in Prescott Valley, Arizona. I mean, the internet is good and bad. In this instance, use it for good. Reach out and touch base with someone you would normally send, whether you're a 3D person, a FIDA person, whatever it may be. Reach out there and touch base with somebody. That's going to be it for the live feed, folks. I appreciate Seb. I appreciate Johan. Great people. Johan has the coolest jacket I've ever seen. He's not made one in triple extra large yet for me, but we'll keep harassing him about that. But that's going to be it, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. You guys know the drill. We want to hear from you, not about you. And as always, love, peace, and chicken grease. Thanks, everybody.